Yes, there is this thought that has been battling through my mind for some time now in connection to education, entrepreneurship, and employment. Now, education, as we all know it, is one of the greatest fundamental right to every human, such that once you are educated, it gives you that foundation of leveraging on to be able to attain everything you want to accomplish in this world. Now, you are looking at education to be the fundamentals of all successes, because without education, you'll be limited in your operation, your functions, and your knowledge base will not be good enough to be able to get you to achieve greater heights. Even though we have some uneducated ones who have been able to use their knowledge to have been able to achieve greater heights in this world, as most of us will testify to. Now, we want to look at the impact of education in job creation. Is education actually giving us enough job opportunities as against? Now, let's look at it from this front. In our environment where we have the informal sector and the formal sector, which we refer to as the white collar job and the blue collar job environment. Now, the blue collar job environment, which is the informal sector, happens to be the sector that employs the large number of labor force in Ghana, tend to employ over 80% of the total labor force in Ghana. There are potential great job opportunities within the informal sector. Now, let's run this down into entrepreneurship. Now, we have in our universities people opting out for first degree, masters, and doctorate in entrepreneurship. Now, I find it difficult to want to see a first degree holder or a master's holder or a doctorate holder in entrepreneurship who has nothing to show within the entrepreneurial space. And I find it difficult to want to take it in that an entrepreneurial graduate will sit to complain about joblessness. And I also want to find it difficult to believe that the entrepreneur who has been trained can't make up to establish or have any entrepreneurial venture to show and prove, but just remaining as an academic entrepreneur. I think much of where they are needed is within the informal sector, where they will use their knowledge to come and create the enabling environment within the informal sector to structure it such that it can compete with the formal sector. Much of the problem within the informal sector is because businesses within the informal sector are not well structured. They lack a lot of knowledge when it comes to business setup, business operations, business management, business models, and all that gets a standardized business into operation. And this is what entrepreneurs are taught in school, how entrepreneurship is modeled and how it is managed and sustained. And so I am looking at the situation where we have graduates being encouraged and an enabling environment is being created to them to venture more into the informal sector and help that sector to grow in terms of rebranding, such that it can create an avenue, an enabling environment. It can become a destination for job seeking or job seekers. Okay? Because once they come in there and create the enabling environment in terms of business formalization, that environment will begin to look lucrative, and a lot of job opportunities will then be surfaced because they will be there and then point out how businesses that have been looked down upon by society can be transformed into an average or an international standard businesses that can be operated. And by so doing, big, huge businesses can be created within that space. Standardized business and formalized businesses will be created within that space. The informal sector will then become a destination for a lot of job seekers, even from the universities, to want to venture in there. And so for us to be able to grow this economy and develop our nation and also make businesses available and make our economic life easier, I think much of attention should be focused to the informal sector, where we have numerous job opportunities, but how to tap into them, it's a problem. And so, fellow graduate entrepreneurs, for your impact to be much felt within our economy and within this space and elsewhere, your impact can heavily be seen when you venture into the informal sector and create that enabling environment for it to be seen and noted that for the education you receive from school, this is what you've been able to transform it into. But if you stay and want to just gain employment within the formal sector, I wonder what great impact you can really make there. Yes, you might be able to make great impact, but your impact will be much felt within the informal sector, if you ask me. Well, it's a thought worth thinking about, worth discussing. This is an intellectual discourse. If you have your view, you might bring it up. Let's discuss it. All we need is the best for our nation, the best for our society, and the best for our people. My thoughts worth sharing. Thank you for listening. Bye.